Hi everyone, this is Dr. Cooper and this is a podcast for the ENG091 Fundamentals of Writing class. This is the week 2 Thursday online portion of your course. So just remember, it doesn't have to be done on Thursday, but it would be a good idea to get started Wednesday, Thursday, because everything that I'm talking about today is due on Friday. Alright, so let's get started. Just like we talked about in class, I'm in the modules area and we're going to click on week 2. And this is just a reminder to talk about some of the things that we've been learning, and also a reminder to about some of the things that you have to do this week. All right, so what you can see here is that, let me make this so we can see it. All right, there we go. All right, so for week 2, in class, we had a quiz on chapter 2. So I want to talk a little bit about chapter 2. I have my book here, and just a couple of things I want to touch on. But also, I want to talk about what you should be working on right now and what's due on Friday. So I'll come back to chapter 2. But like you know, we started working on essay number 1. And this essay is going to be your opportunity to show me where you are with your writing. So I don't want you to get any help with this essay. I want for you to give me your best effort. You're not going to fail if the essay is not very good, unless I feel like you haven't given me a good effort. Okay, so I want for you to put it down, put everything you can on this essay on paper and show me where you are. And then from there, we can talk about what we need to do to get you where you need to be. Okay, so it's a little bit of an individualized type of a class here, where not everybody has the same level of skill when it comes to writing. But at the end, hopefully we will all have the skills to be able to test right on into English 101. All right, so for Friday, you're working on that essay. And to help you prepare for that, I created a lesson. Remember how I talked about that lesson is made in a product called Tegrity. So I wanted for everybody to make sure that they can read or listen to this lesson because it's important. We will have lots more each week coming up. So make sure that if you can't get into this lesson here, the writing process lesson, that you let me know. And then make sure you download the plugins if it prompts you to do so. And also try different browsers if it doesn't work. Remember in class, Firefox didn't work, but Internet Explorer did. Alright, some of you have already discovered that you have homework over in Connect. So Connect is where you took your diagnostic test last week. And we talked a little bit about the learning plan that test sort of triggered in Connect. And we'll start working on that learning plan again next week. But for now, you'll need to go over to Connect and just click this link and you will eventually land over here. And when you look in the week 2 folder, you will see that there is chapter 2. So the same chapter that you read from your textbook, you know, this book that you were supposed to buy, you're now going to do some homework. We are live. Okay, so when you click the chapter 2 link, you'll get this little message telling you that you have unlimited attempts, and for each day it is late, for each hour it is late, you're going to lose 10%. So that should be a day. I'm going to change that. But you want to get this done on time. So click OK to get into the assignment. So for the assignment, you're going to need to read this essay. And then once you're done reading the essay, there'll be some questions at the bottom that you're going to answer related to that essay. Okay, just remember that this just pops up the essay in a different window, so that you can read it again when you're answering the question. You can also just scroll all the way up at the top. Okay, so some of them are really easy. You can just choose a button and then you can check your work, see what happens if you got it correct. It'll pop up and say you either got it right or you got it wrong. Oh, I got that right. Yay. Okay, and then cancel to make it go away. And then answer. In this case, you're going to choose an item from the drop-down menu. So when it pops up, I can then choose the option that I want. Okay, so just be patient with it. A lot of times it's just the browser that you might be using. So mine's working now, and I can pick one. And then as you scroll down, each question's a little different. Sometimes you'll have to, if you scroll down even further, it talks about the writing process. You can do some dragging and dropping. So in this case, you would drag your answers over. I'm not really reading the questions, so these are not correct. Okay, so drag and drop, and then these move too. So first off, you have to put these in order, and then you have to tell what they are. So make sure that you do that. You're dragging, but you're also rearranging the order here as well. Okay, and you can always reset it to start all over if you wanted to. Okay, so each of the questions are worth 100 points, excuse me, 1 point. Here's another drag and drop, so you're going to build an outline. So it's really important that you've read Chapter 2. So I talked about the book here, and we talked only about pre-writing in class, but in order to do well on this homework assignment from Chapter 2, you need to make sure that you've read all of the chapter. So go back in and past the part where we talked about the pre-writing, go into where it starts talking about writing a topic sentence and preparing a scratch outline. Now, you're not required to write an outline for this first essay that you're writing, but all the others that we're going to write, we are going to be required to have one. If you're used to writing an outline, go ahead and do that. I just didn't want to complicate things for this first essay. But in chapter 2, page 23, it talks about preparing a scratch outline. And here's where you'll be able to see examples that will help you fill this outline out here. Okay? Then it talks about writing a first draft, and then revising and editing. Key thing to remember is that revision comes first, then editing. And then there's 2 steps to revision. We revise the content. Do we have the right information in there? Should I take information out? And then we revise the sentences. The order of the sentences and how you might say something. And then only after that do we edit, where we look for spelling, grammar, punctuation types of errors. Okay? So chapter 2 is a very important chapter. Do not skip reading that chapter, and you want to do so before you do this assignment, okay? Once you're done, make sure that you hit submit the assignment, and then your scores will be recorded. Okay, so back over in Canvas, we're back on, and I've added a couple of links here for you. The rest of your homework is to finish your journal, which was your pre-writing. We did that in class, so whether you took a picture of your pre-writing and uploaded it to your blog, that's great. Just make sure that you come back to Canvas and post the URL there. And then, of course, the essay here. So I want to talk to you just a little bit about that essay that you're working on. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down. The same links are down here for the essay, and then your chapter 2 homework, and then your pre-writing, your journal number 2. Okay, let me just quickly show you that. So you all did this with journal number 1, where you listed your URL. So when you go into, so when you're in student view, you'll see the assignment telling you what to do again with the pictures. So it's very clear. You can't really get lost with this. And then, of course, you're going to hit submit the assignment, and you're going to paste your URL in here. So when you go to your blog, and here's an example of my blog. Okay, so here's a journal that matches what yours might look like. So I'm using the example, like we saw in class, of someone doing clustering. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the title of my journal, and then this is the URL that I'm going to grab to paste. Okay, so most of you have this down. So I'm going to paste that URL right in here, and there it is, and then I submit my assignment. So the last thing I want to touch on before you run off to do all of this great work is in chapter 2, on page 34, it talks about considering purpose and audience, and we haven't really had a discussion about that yet. We're going to get into this whole writing process more starting next week, but because you are writing your first essay here, I want you to really think about what this part of the chapter is talking about, page 34. When you write something, you have to have an audience, and a lot of times you just assume that your teacher is your audience. And in this case, that is true. I am your audience. I'm asking for you to tell me a little bit about yourself. So for this paper, and this paper only, I will be your audience. For any other paper, we're going to talk about who your audience is and why you're writing for that audience. Okay? Now, as far as purpose, the purpose is not because you want to get a good grade, not because you're told to write an essay. Your purpose is that you are writing to inform me about your writing profile, your reading profile. You're educating me, so by informing me. So we'll talk about all the different types of purposes one might have for writing, but these are going to be key elements for writing well in this class. So page 34 is going to come back again. That's a hint about what you might see on the next quiz. Purpose, audience. What does that mean? So I can't stress enough that chapter 2 is very important. So make sure that you've read through it. And even though the exercises aren't assigned for points or a grade, oftentimes it helps clarify some concepts. Let me just point out this one page here. See that chart? It's an outline pre-writing activity, and it's really helping the student who is writing on this particular topic how to organize their writing. It's something that you might want to consider, and that's on page 36. Okay, so that's it for this podcast. Good luck, and remember, it's a 3-day weekend. I'll still be back on Monday to inform you of what you need to be working on, but it's a holiday, so it'll be a little bit of work that you'll need to do. So you might want to look ahead and get it done before the holiday Monday so you can enjoy your time. All right, I'll see you all soon. See you in class next week.